Hey everyone, welcome to Zoology with Will. I've got my snake hook out today because we are going to look at the most incredible and sometimes stupid venomous snake TikToks. Let's dive in.
Day 1 of getting bit by random creatures until I get superpowers. Now that this mystery snake has sunk his fangs into my arm, it's time to wait to see what the side effects are.
Ow! Yikes!
For side effects, my arm started feeling warm and I also started to feel lightheaded. But besides that, no superpowers. Maybe we'll have better luck on day 2. Welcome to day 2 of getting bit by random creatures until I get superpowers. Maybe this mystery snake has the capability of giving me my superhuman abilities that I've been looking for. Also, shout out to that movie based on a true story called Spider-Man. It's been truly inspiration. I mean, really though, who knew that getting bit by a spider could give you superpowers? The mystery snake bit my finger, and I'll keep you guys updated if we get any superpowers.
So there's so much wrong with that clip, it's just so bad. The snake biting his arm at the start is a mangrove snake. It's a commonly kept pet, and anyone who knows even a tiny bit about reptiles knows that it has a very mild venom, so he's not in any danger, and also won't get superpowers. I mean, obviously it's kind of a joke, but kind of being dramatic at the same time. The snake at the end was obviously a cobra, which probably didn't really bite him either. This is the kind of thing that a lot of people do now, and it gets views and it gets some laughs, and it's entertaining if you enjoy it. That's okay, I guess. But the problem with this is that getting mildly venomous bites can very rarely backfire. Sometimes there's a rare phenomenon where if you get bitten twice by the same mildly venomous animal, you can actually go into anaphylactic shock. And that's anaphylactic shock as severe as some people get from bee stings. So yes, it could be entertaining, could make some money, but it could backfire massively one day. I don't think I need to tell any of you not to put a rattlesnake on your chest and hang out with it. I'm pretty sure that was a cascabel. I'm not entirely certain on that. But anyway, whatever species of rattlesnake it is, you don't want to put it on your chest. That was just on another level of stupid.
This has been a long time coming. 8 years now, I've been coming to Arizona and looking for this snake. The Sonoran coral snake. Get a load of that. That was incredible.
Sonoran coral snakes are beautiful. They're also highly venomous. There's a few myths about these, and there's a lot of people that do tend to handle them kind of, it looks like with impunity. The first myth is that their teeth are too small to bite you and actually puncture the skin anywhere other than between the fingers. And people will debate this with me all day. But the fact of the matter is there are records of people. One lad was 15 who have actually passed away from being bitten on the hand or the fingers, not between the fingers. And the venom of coral snakes is quite sneaky. So they're a relative of cobras, and they have highly neurotoxic venom. It's very, very toxic, but they inject it in very small amounts because they're only smaller snakes after all. And what it does is it spreads subcutaneously below the skin. So you might actually feel okay for a few hours. You might even go to a hospital, sit there for 4 hours while they put you under surveillance or something, and then leave again. So the moral of the story is, they're still very, very, very dangerous, even though they're small and they look kind of inoffensive, and it's fun to pick them up if you like that kind of thing. But if you are ever bitten by a snake that you suspect of being a coral snake, you need to be under hospital surveillance for a minimum of 24 hours.
This is an Indonesian king cobra. King cobras are the largest venomous snake on the planet. She's really on guard right now because I'm just invading her personal bubble, but I'm keeping myself right out of the striking distance so I can work around her. This snake had a dirty enclosure. I just wanted to take her out and work with her a little bit. Easy, easy. The thing is, they focus on movement.
Very cool snake. Obviously it's not necessary to do all that with it if you're just cleaning it out. That's kind of like teasing it to get some views, in my opinion.
This is a venomous cottonmouth, aka water moccasin. He is an adult male. Don't try this at home. These snakes are often misunderstood. They are not aggressive and do not chase people. Just respect their space, and they'll leave you alone.
That was a good example of just how laid back cottonmouths can be, and the fact that they aren't aggressive. If you don't mess with them, if you don't invade their space or, you know, jump around and do all the stuff that the guys on TV do, they're not going to do anything most of the time. However, I would still say, you know, if one's crawling towards you, take a couple steps back before it gets on your foot.
This is Mike Perry, and he is milking a gaboon viper. This species has the longest fangs of any other venomous snake, reaching up to 2 inches long and delivering the highest amount of venom to its next meal than any other snake known to man. It is also the heaviest venom.
Imagine getting bitten by one of those and getting the fangs in your leg. That would be painful straight away. They deliver a huge amount of venom. The venom is mostly cytotoxic, but it's got all kinds of compounds in it. Notably, it's also got hemorrhagins in it. So it's going to make your capillaries leak, probably your lymphatic vessels as well. And all of your smaller blood vessels are going to leak blood. You're going to get blood in your tissues, and at the same time, the cytotoxins are going to make your cells pop. So it's going to kind of melt and bleed your organs, vessels, you know, tissues, etc. There's a very good reason why it has such powerful venom though. It's not just for the heck of it. It's, like they said, it's a very heavy-bodied snake. It's very heavy-bodied, it's very stocky, it's very muscular. So this gives it a very dynamic strike. It makes it one of the fastest striking snakes. And it is basically hyper-evolved into an ambush predator. Its whole game is striking prey, making the prey pass away very, very quickly, and then not having to travel far to eat the prey. So it is a rest and wait ambush predator. It doesn't do long distance, it doesn't like to climb, it doesn't travel fast across the ground. It likes to spend its energy on that very fast strike.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
That's almost a hard shot.
Wow. I just need to make sure there's no...
Right on the skull would have been ironic, huh?
Oh my god.
Like a missile, bro. These snakes.
Wow.
They're scare me. They're the scariest snakes to film.
That is so insane fast. Holy crap. Bro, that was scary.
Look at her ass, too. She's like, yeah.
He almost got bit then. That was very close. That was a Mangshan pit viper. They're not generally, you know, extremely defensive. They can be pretty chilled out, but that one obviously wasn't in the mood. They're a very beautiful species. They're also an endangered species. The thing is, I see these videos all the time, and what that guy does is his business. It's none of my business. But now that I'm getting a little bit older, I'm going to say that he is playing with fire. I'm sure he's been bitten before. I'm sure he's had injuries. And when you're young, you can do it. You can have injuries. You can kind of get away with it. You bounce back really nicely. As you start to get older, the injuries come back up though. So every day you get a little bit more pain, a little more ache. And I think, you know, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, this guy could say the injuries I got when I was younger weren't worth it, because they will impact you later in life. That's his toilet now.
Dingo Dinkelman saved these black mambas from certain death. Apparently, South Africans aren't super excited to have one of the world's most venomous snakes living in their backyards. Anyways, those black mambas needed a brand new home, where they can be psychotic and unpredictable, away from humans. Which is why we drove into the bush to visit Black Mamba Gorge. Today we're going to be releasing those black mambas into the wild, and I'll be chasing them with a drone to see where they're going.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't think they are psychotic and unpredictable. I think they act like that when they're surrounded by humans chasing them and jumping all around them. I think it scares them, and I think it makes them act defensive. What you'll notice with that clip is just how fast the black mambas try and get away. When they're actually released from the bucket, they are getting away from humans as fast as they possibly can.
You can open the fridge door and have a look if you want to see what it's doing.
It's going back up. Oh.
can hop straight in that bag. Ooh. Don't.
There you go. Big dangerous snake.
Is that not big to you?
That was a red-bellied black snake stuck in a fridge door. I've got to say, that is the first time I've ever seen a snake stuck in a fridge.
If you ever get bit and you don't know if it's venomous or non-venomous, typically venomous snakes have triangular shaped heads. They also have slit-like eyes, more like a cat, rather than round pupils. You have to be pretty close to determine that, but you know. They also normally have thicker bodies than most of the non-venomous snakes. If you ever get bit, don't take that snake with you. Don't take it to the EMS. They don't want that. Just call 911. They'll probably be there faster than any other treatment you can think of.
The advice to call the emergency services immediately is always the best advice for snake bite. That part is definitely true. But the triangular head thing, that is a myth. There are plenty of snakes that are slim and venomous. Notably in the US, there's coral snakes, for example. There's also some rattlesnakes that are a little bit slimmer than the others, and it's not always that easy to identify a snake when it's slithering around out in the wild. I don't think you should go by any of these. I think you should just not touch anything you haven't identified.
Whoa, he's huge. Hey, Strider, come up here. Strider, up here. Away from that sea snake. Here you go. My name's Brody. It's really nice to meet you. Look at this guy, just coming in to say g'day. How you doing, fella? My name's Brody. It's very nice to meet you. You have to watch out for my jet ski butt, fella. Hey. Whoa, that is a huge sea snake, my friends. Massive sea snake.
Amazing. Proof that you can have a positive encounter with a venomous snake if you respect its space and you just let it go about its business. Generally, you won't get hurt. That guy has a really amazing YouTube channel as well. He finds all kinds of stuff all around the shores I think he's in Northern Australia, so do go and check him out.
Oh my flippin' word, Mark. He wants to sleep with him, my husband says. Ja, maar Mark geen van hierdie sies.
I always give people this advice of checking your shoes in the morning before you put them on and checking piles of clothes on the floor and stuff like that. But I really think my advice is outdated for South Africa. I think if you're over there, you need to check in your bed, in your toilet, under your pillows, everywhere you can think of, basically. That was a huge king cobra. Apparently there is a verified as reliable as can be record of an 18-foot king cobra, and I've also heard several reports of king cobras rearing up almost 4 feet off of the ground. So, I mean, that's not just a venomous snake, that's a snake that's physically impressive as well. I've got to say that is one species that would definitely make me nervous in real life.
Grr, I am angry. I am angry, little grr. Grr, 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 grr. Oh, you're okay. What do you think? Oh, just two angry lemons. Super sour lemons. Come on, we're going inside. Let's go.
Let's go. Ray, come.
Come on, get him. Let's get inside.
Good boy. Good boy, bro.
See ya.
Good job.
I'm out of here.
That was a tough one to watch. Obviously, it's cruel to the rattlesnakes. I don't care how anyone frames it, justifies it, talks about it. That part of the story is undeniable. It is cruel to do that to the rattlesnakes. It is a form of cruelty. They're suffering. They're not enjoying it. On the other hand, though, if you lose a dog, that's like losing a member of the family. And that's a hard trade-off if you're living somewhere in rattlesnake country. So yes, that is cruel to the snake, but it could save your family pet as well. So, you know, these are tough arguments to have in areas where humans have encroached on natural habitats.
When a venomous snake bites you, the muscles around their venom glands contract, and it squeezes the venom down through their hollow fangs. This venom is then injected into your skin and goes into your bloodstream. Now, depending on the type of snake, you could feel the effect within seconds. Some venom will interfere with your blood's ability to clot, causing internal bleeding, and others will block your nerve transmissions, leaving you paralyzed or worse.
That was fun.
Of all the venomous snake species in Africa, only 5 can spit their venom. 4 of them are cobras. And the 5th is the wrinkles. True cobras squirt venom with a sniper's sense of accuracy. The wrinkles has to fling his, as venom drips down grooved fangs. The wrinkles rears and hurls its head, throwing venom in the general direction of its target. If it hits its mark, it's blinding. When enemies ignore a warning, a bite to man or beast could be deadly.
I have heard that the wrinkles aims for the face, aims for your eyes specifically, and I've heard it's actually a really good aim as well. Even if it does have to fling its venom, it doesn't have quite the same mechanism as spitting cobras, and it's not actually a true cobra, the wrinkles, it's slightly different. It is still a darn good shot, apparently.
Check this out. I've been trying to catch this on video for a long time now. This is the death adder from Papua New Guinea doing what's known as caudal lowering. He has this yellow tip tail that he's wiggling, and it's gonna appear to be a worm to unsuspected animals. Things like amphibians, lizards, or even small rodents are gonna come in thinking they're gonna get a meal, and quickly they become a meal themselves. Too cool.
That was cool. Great information on that clip.
Alright guys, we've got a really special species of snake here. We've got 2 of our female Mangshang pit vipers. These are amazing animals. They're from a very small pocket of rainforest in China. They are classified as endangered because they're from such a small patch of area, and they are under threat from the illegal trade and obviously habitat loss. So we've got our beautiful new exhibit here that's been purpose made for them. So we're gonna get them in. So this species of snake, they are highly venomous, so we just got to be really careful. So we're just going to be moving nice and slowly, nice and carefully, using these snake hooks to keep away, because they are pit vipers, so they've got a very accurate, very fast strike. They do get really long, so they can get 8 feet when they're fully grown, so they're a huge species of snake. Look at that colour. Absolutely stunning. Alright girl, let's get you in. They are the only Mangshang pit vipers in a zoo in the UK, so if you want to see one, got to come down to our new house and check them out.
I think it's really good to watch that clip and then have a think about how that person who is working in a zoo and is a very professional person, professional-minded person when it comes to handling reptiles, it's good to think about how they are handling the snake and compare that with how we see snakes handled on TV shows. Even some of our favourite snake presenters have a way of handling snakes which is done on purpose. It involves running up to the snake, dashing towards it, throwing your hands around, dancing about in front of it, and basically agitating it and making sure that that snake is in a state of fear and ready to defend itself, because if it lashes out, it strikes out, it's good for the cameras. He's not interested in promoting that kind of sensationalism, he's interested in promoting the zoo and showing its level of care and its care for the animals, both with regards to its, levels of stress and its environment. So he doesn't want it to strike, he doesn't want it to look dangerous or deadly or aggressive or anything like that. And I think sometimes it's good to look at clips like this and have a little think about this.
Well, I came down the backyard probably week before last, just have a look around after storms to see branches down and things like that. And we've got mulch around some tree areas, and I just happened to look over, and on one of the the piles of mulch, there was a group of snakes, I'd say about 600 millimetres diameter, about 100 millimetres thick, which I shuddered and shook and backed away, and they disappeared into the mulch pile. We called Reptile Relocations Sydney, Corey, and he sent Dylan out, and we raked through the pile of mulch and rescued all these snakes. What was going through my head was just I couldn't believe the amount of snakes that he kept uncovering out of there. Every time we raked a bit of mulch, there was more. There was 2 clutches of babies that had already been hatched, and when they're hatched, apparently the mums take off and leave camp. And then as we kept digging, there was we pulled out altogether. He left here Friday night with 36 babies and 5 adults. Yeah, look, it was just exciting to see, really, more than anything. Just never seen so many snakes in one place in my life either.
Props to that guy. He's done the right thing. He's seen that the snakes were in his garden, he's not tried to harm them in any way, and he's called an appropriate service to come and get them. That is the best way to protect your family and the wildlife in your area. I'm sure the snake hunters are going to take them, relocate them, and the snakes will carry on living happily somewhere else. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. I think some of those were quite fun, some were interesting, some were terrible, but there's always a mix, and it's always good to make up your own minds what you think about this stuff. So if you did enjoy this, please do like and subscribe, and please come back in a week or so for another one. Thank you very much.